minutes to keep your season alive. And Hakeem, sometimes momentum and experience, it's not enough when it's all on the line. Well, how about the Warriors? They're looking to secure the 8th seed after Steph Curry's 35-point performance on Wednesday, taking on the Suns, who are seeking their 5th playoff appearance in the last 6 seasons. Mid-second quarter, we start you off a Warriors turnover. Jalen Green on the break throws down the one-handed slam. Prepare to hear his name quite a bit. He scored 14 in the first half. Late second quarter now. Curry coming up with the steal on the break. Fadeaway 3, vintage Curry. Warriors down 5 at the half. Curry with 7 of his final 17 in the first half. Late third now, Green pulls away from way downtown, sticks it. Suns up 10. Green with 27 through 3. Now early fourth, Devin Booker, Green, ball fake, 3, cash it. Suns, they go on to win 111-96 and clinch the 8th seed courtesy of Jalen Green. Green in the play-in, 36-point night, having himself an outing. Well, against the Trailblazers, he had 35 points. Against the Warriors, 36, but tempers did start to boil for the Warriors, whose season comes to an end. Draymond Green was ejected in the final minute, and as you saw, making the fans hear it on his way out. But nonetheless, the Suns, they're punching their ticket after missing the postseason. They're back. So the math is simple. Win, and you get in. The Magic looking to make the playoffs in 3 straight years for the first time since 2000 to 2012 seasons. Winner clinching the 8th seed in the East and playing the 1 seed Pistons in the first round. Mid-first, Paolo Banchero drives over the shoulder to Wendell Carter Jr. Drains the corner trade, part of a 13-0 Magic run. One of Banchero's 6 assists on the night. Now late first we go. Banchero. This time, instead of the helper, does it himself, takes it to the rack for the bucket and 1. Magic up 22 after 1. Now late second, tensions rising for the Hornets, down 26. Miles Bridges with the ball. Desmond Bane forcing the turnover. Bridges, though, called for a foul on Bane. Bridges put his fist across Bane's face to get up off the floor. He was assessed a dead ball technical foul. All right, let's get things in order, fellas. Minute later. In transition, Franz Wagner lobs it up to Jalen Suggs. He throws it down. Magic up 31 at the break. That's the largest halftime lead in a postseason game in franchise history for Orlando. Early third now. Pass to Banchero, into the paint for the one-handed jam. Banchero finished with 25 points as the Magic dominate this one 121-90, making the playoffs in 3 straight years for the first time since the 2007 through 2012 season. Well, here's what lies ahead now. The Magic will assume the 8th seed and will face the top-seeded Pistons in the first round. First round action getting set Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we are talking about the NBA playoff picture. The play-in games are over. The Warriors have been eliminated by the Suns. The Magic punched their ticket to face the Pistons. And the analysts at ESPN are breaking down the entire bracket. The Celtics are coming out of the East. The Nuggets and Spurs are set for a huge second-round matchup. And John Gonzalez is predicting that the Nuggets will win it all. Let me break it all down. First, the play-in games. The Suns eliminated the Warriors. Jalen Green had a massive night, scoring 36 points. Steph Curry had 35, but it was not enough. The Warriors' season came to an end. Draymond Green was ejected in the final minute. The Suns clinched the 8th seed and will face the top-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder in the first round. In the East, the Magic dominated the Hornets 121-90. Paolo Banchero had 25 points. Franz Wagner and Jalen Suggs were flying all over the court. The Magic made the playoffs in 3 straight years for the first time since 2012. They will face the top-seeded Detroit Pistons in the first round. Now, let me get into the analysts' bracket predictions. John Gonzalez started with the East. In the 1-8 matchup, the Pistons and the Magic. He says these two teams are very similar. They are both defensive-minded. They both like to get their points in the paint. He just thinks that the Pistons are the 1 seed for a reason. They do all of those things better than the Magic. He is taking the Pistons. In the 4-5 matchup, the Cavs and the Raptors. Both of these teams need to get out of the first round. The Cavs had a very disappointing postseason last year. The Raptors are awfully expensive for a 5 seed. But he thinks the Cavs are a little bit better. So, he is going with Cleveland in 6. In the 3-6 matchup, the Knicks and the Hawks. He says this is the upset alert. He did not have the courage to take the Knicks, but the Knicks are just break even against teams that are .500 or better this season. The Hawks have a winning record. It would not surprise him if the Knicks lose this one, but he has them moving on. In the 2-7 matchup, the Celtics and the 76ers. He points out that the Sixers have not beaten Boston in the postseason since the early 1980s. It is 2026. He is going with the Celtics. Then he moves to the second round. He has the Pistons and the Cavs. He just does not think that the Pistons get enough respect. They have been at the top of the Eastern Conference all season long. The Cavs had to shuffle the deck before the trade deadline. He thinks the Pistons have that continuity. So, he is taking Detroit. Then he gets to the second round matchup that everybody is looking for. The Celtics and the Knicks. He says the Celtics were not supposed to be here. They were supposed to take a gap year. They have been the better team at both ends of the floor all season long. He thinks that Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns get hunted. Jason Tatt. Is back. Jalen Brown is having a fantastic year, as is Derek White. This one is chalk for him because Boston is moving on. The host then asked about the Eastern Conference Finals between the Celtics and the Pistons. Gonzalez says this would be an absolutely fantastic Eastern Conference Finals. An old-school throwback conference finals between Detroit and Boston. The Pistons are the top of the Eastern Conference all season long, a top 10 offense, which people do not really realize, and the number 2 defense in the NBA behind only Oklahoma City. And they have Cade Cunningham, who had a top 5 MVP caliber season. Jalen Duren really took the leap. And then the Celtics. How much have they talked about the Celtics all season long? About how amazing and remarkable this season was. They got rid of a huge chunk of their core during the offseason. Jason Tatum had an Achilles tear. You think they are dead in the water. They are going to have to wait until next season. Jalen Brown had a top 5 MVP caliber season. Derek White is headed for All-NBA. Joe Mazzulla is coaching up a bunch of guys who are deep on his bench. You think, how are these guys even in the NBA? And then they become huge roster components. And then of course Jason Tatum comes back after only 10 months. So, he thinks this would be a really good one. He thinks it would go deep into the series, but he is going to go with Boston just from muscle memory. They have more postseason experience, and he thin. KS that they are slightly more talented at both ends of the floor. Now, let me move to the Western Conference. Gonzalez starts with the 1-8 matchup. The Suns advanced over the Warriors. And for their trouble, they get to get swept or gentlemen swept by the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder are just the deepest team in the NBA, and they are going to have way too much for Phoenix. In the 4-5 matchup, the Rockets and the Lakers. He says what could have been, right? You are not going to have Luka Doncic, he is hurt. You are not going to have Austin Reeves, he is hurt. That could have been a real series. Instead, the Rockets have Kevin Durant. He is questionable for that game, but they just have too much. Alperen Sengun. Amen Thompson. The Lakers were thin anyway. In the 3-6 matchup, the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. He says this is the marquee matchup of the first round. The Wolves have to be so bummed that the Nuggets won that last game of the regular season to claim the 3 seed because otherwise they would be facing the Rockets or the Lakers right now. Instead, they have the hardest path of any team in the NBA during the postseason. He thinks it ends in the first round. He is taking the Nuggets. In the 2-7 matchup, the Spurs and the Blazers. The Blazers have had a great season. He did not expect them to be in the postseason. It is just the Spurs are so good at both ends of the floor. And what do you do with Victor Wembanyama? Nobody has an answer for him in the NBA, and CE. Routinely not the Blazers. Then he moves to the second round. He has Oklahoma City and the Rockets. This is where he thinks it gets interesting. Oklahoma City is the defending champs for a reason. The Rockets had played them tough early in the season. He just thinks again that Oklahoma City is that deep. The Rockets do not have as much offense as Oklahoma City has. So, nice season for them, but they are going to have to add more pieces in the offseason. Then he has the Nuggets and the Spurs. The host points out that Denver won the regular season series 3-1 against the Spurs. There has been a lot of talk about Victor Wembanyama and what he can look like in his first postseason, especially while healthy. The host asked what the X factor is in this series. Gonzalez says nobody has an answer for Wemby. But guess what? On the other side, nobody has an answer for Jokic either. He remembers last year when the Nuggets were playing Oklahoma City and they went to 7 games in the second round. They were throwing everything they could possibly throw at Jokic. Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein, Alex Caruso got some shifts. Sure, why not? That is the same thing that is going to happen with Victor Wembanyama. There is no good answer, so you are just going to throw everything in the kitchen sink it in. Now, as mentioned, the Nuggets beat the Spurs 3 times out of 4 in the regular season. The Spurs have played Oklahoma City really tough and beat them 4 out of 5 times, but they are not playing Oklahoma City theoretically in the second round. This is the huge clash. Whoever wins this goes off to the conference finals to ostensibly play Oklahoma City. The Spurs are way ahead of the curve. They have not made the postseason since 2019. The next few seasons are going to be all about Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. But he does not think this one is theirs because there is a little bit of a learning curve in the playoffs. So, he is going to go with the team that has done it before, that has won a championship. And while Victor Wembanyama is next, he still believes that the best player in the NBA, not going to be MVP, but the best player in the whole world is still Nikola Jokic. He thinks the Nuggets move on. The host then asks about the conference finals. The Thunder have the shortest odds to win the West by a long shot. But does he foresee an upset? He says the host is reading his mind. He does foresee an upset. Oklahoma City is the defending champs for a reason. They are so loaded. They are so deep. They have the reigning MVP, probably going to be back-to-back MVP in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Jalen Williams is back healthy. Chet Holmgren is going to be first-team All-Defense. Their roster is incredible. But do not forget last year when these two teams matched up, Denver took them to Game 7 in the second round. Well, guess what? That Denver team was not nearly as good or as deep as this Denver team. This Denver team is the best team that Jokic has had around him. Jamal Murray had a career year and is going to make All-NBA, the first time he has ever done that. He kept that team afloat when they had a ton of injury issues. They were the 3 seed this year despite the fact that 4 of their 5 starters missed significant time. Jokic, Cam Johnson, Christian Braun, Aaron Gordon, all missed huge chunks of time. Peyton Watson too. Now, all of them, except for Peyton Watson, are healthy. So, he just thinks if they can make it to the conference finals healthy, not only do they have a puncher's chance, he will go with the best player in the world again with the best team he has ever had around him. He thinks Denver is going to pull the upset. So, the analyst has the Celtics coming out of the East and the Nuggets coming out of the West. Denver back in the finals for the first time since their last title in 2023. The Celtics, not many people predicted would make it back to this point so soon after reshuffling its roster and that brutal injury to Jason Tatum less than a calendar year ago. Both phenomenal stories. So, if this does happen, who is crowned NBA champs? He is going to go with the Nuggets. He did not anticipate that the Celtics would be here. He did not think that they would have a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense, or that Jason Tatum would come back after 10 months, or that Jaylen Brown would look like a top 5 MVP candidate. He always believes in Derek White. That guy is just super underrated. But the Nuggets, there is just something where their entire season again after all these injuries, he did not anticipate that they would still get the 3 seed. And they just kept plugging along. Jamal Murray is a huge reason why. He does not get enough credit. He has him on second team All-NBA. He is going to make one of the All-NBA teams, maybe third team. But either way, for him to have the kind of season that he had and really keep the Nuggets' heads above water as all these guys were coming back from injury, and now all of a sudden they are healthy at the right time, they playing hot at the right time. They went into the postseason as one of the hottest teams in the NBA on a huge winning streak, and they have the number 1 offense and the number 1 player in the world. The Nuggets get their second championship with Nikola Jokic. So here is my question to you in the comments. Do you agree with John Gonzalez's predictions? Can the Nuggets beat the Thunder and win the championship? And will the Celtics come out of the East? Let me know. I read every single comment. As always, like, subscribe, hit that bell. We are building something special here. I will see you in the next one.